Okay, hello. I'm Hunter Wade, WHT, and I'm here with former Indiana Hoosier Juwan Morgan.
How you doing?
Okay, so we'll just start right off here. What was it like to play in the NCAA tournament with such great talent? Because that team you played in the tournament on was really good.
It was crazy, honestly. Like anytime people ask me, I'm always like, we went as far as Yogi went. I mean, he literally just like did everything for us that you could think of. I mean, obviously we had tremendous talent, Thomas, Troy, Max, Nick. Like we had all the talent in the world, but it's just like I feel like Yogi was just like a step ahead of everybody, and he always just we went as he went. He was obviously, leader, captain, whatever you want to call him. But it's just like he did it on both ends of the floor. And I feel like it was just insane seeing like the people we were going against. It was like, I mean, like that Kentucky team, that UNC team, that's like, and it was just crazy going against those guys. And I think just being out there, it's just like a all rankings, all accolades, anything you could think of, all that's out the window as soon as you like step onto the floor in the NCAA tournament.
I was going to mention because during that 2016 round, you play against both Kentucky and UNC, who are in a little bit of a group with IU as the most prestigious programs
Yeah,
that exist. You can throw in, I guess, UCLA, and there's a few others, but I mean, IU's got at least a fighting argument to be in that group.
for
And
sure.
so, what was it like to play other big programs, knowing that they all have big fan bases, and you're not gonna there will be no lack of fans from the other team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was insane. I mean, as soon as you stepped on the court, it was just like I really can't explain it. Like it's just you saw none but just like because both teams were blue, so you saw none but just red and blue, just like all throughout the stands, and it was just like it was literally like half and half, like right where the red stopped, the blue began. It was just like literally like you couldn't have like imagined a more perfect scenario.
And I'm sure you remember this, but a minute later, I had to go to basketball reference and look it up, and now I forgot. What was the team you beat in the first round that year?
Uh, UT Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so you guys were awesome in the 2016 regular season, and then you
Mhm.
had a little bit of an issue in the conference tournament, which happens. Sometimes you just get caught. But how did you guys rally mentally from that? Because that can defeat some teams.
I think literally because I remember watching the shot like over and over again after it happened, like in the right corner. Um, and I remember Yogi just bringing everybody together. He's like, "Look, the conference tournament, we wanted to win it, obviously, but he's like, that's not what we're after. He's like, we should be happy that it happened now and not next week." And so I think that just like opened everybody's eyes to like, look, obviously we wanted to win, but it's like it's a lot better to lose now and like get that loss out the way going into the tournament. That way, we see that not that we didn't think we could be beat, but it's like it's real. Like if you lose, you're out.
Yeah, the I assume the pressure's on. You can't drop another one after you drop the tournament. And I'm sure you know coach Tom Crean was just probably helped there too a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, he was definitely on it. He was always reminding us like that a shot like that can happen at any moment of time. So it's like it was up to us to put ourselves in the best position, not to have the game come down to one shot.
So, what is your perspective on the IU UK rivalry? And you face a Calipari coach UK team, which
Mm,
is if they ever come back with NCAA games, that will be in one of those teams will be in the classic teams section at this point.
oh, for
So,
sure.
so how does it feel to, or I guess how does it feel to? Well, you beat them. You guys beat a UK team.
Yeah, yeah. 1-0 against Kentucky, but I mean, it was like Kentucky was Kentucky. I mean, like there was nothing else you could put around it. And I remember when the seating was coming out, and I think we were a 5, and Kentucky was a 4. I'm pretty sure. And so like off the rip, everybody was like, "Oh, 5-12 upset." Like that always happens. So everybody was like already kind of writing us off. Then it was like, but Kentucky, you got to see Kentucky next. So like, there's no way they get past the round of 32, and it was just like Like my answer to everybody, I was like, I understand what y'all are saying, but it's like we have Yogi. Like that's what y'all aren't understanding. Like we have Yogi, so we're gonna be fine. Like that was literally my answer to everybody.
Yogi, who in college, I mean, Yogi is like one of those prototypical college guards who they're just awesome. They're
Yeah, like literally, I put like honestly, like he didn't get the national championship, but I would put him in like the same boat as as like the Boatwright and Shabazz Napier, like those type of guards. Like I'd put Tyler Ulis in that conversation, like those guards that are just like unstoppable in college.
Ulis. That brings back Tyler Ulis is awesome.
Yeah,
He-
yeah.
the Can you explain about your feelings about winning and losing tournament games? Because you played in one NCAA tournament, right? And
One
then
and then two MITs.
NITs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I imagine, I mean, you were a monster in one of the NITs.
Oh yeah, senior year.
And I looked up your numbers and I was like, and so I mean, how do you? Uh, I guess double question is, how do you mentally recover from losing? You know, and I guess were you a freshman the year you went out in the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
you probably thought you're going back at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Uh, and then how do you, when you're in a T and you're an older, you know, you're on the floor all the time when you're in the IT. How do
Yeah.
you, you're the leader at this point. You're the elder statesman.
Yeah. Um, I would say it was just like a matter of like we here, so like let's just try and win. Like obviously it's not the big tournament, but I mean it's still a tournament. Like if you win, it's still a championship. Obviously it's not, the NCAA championship. It's like the way I was trying to talk to like the freshmen, like the younger guys, I was like, look, like I think it was like towards the end of March, we were still playing before we lost to Wichita State. I was like, look, we could have gotten to the tournament, lost on the buzzer beater in the first game, and been out 2, 3 weeks ago. It's like, but we're still playing basketball, so like, why not just win it?
And of course, you're the current NIT champion is University of North Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, used to live right off campus. The You get to play under Tom Crean, who previous to you being there, and I guess now after, has coached some awesome talent. We're
yeah,
just gonna list them. Both college and pro here apply. D Wade, Cody Zeller, Anthony Edwards, Yogi Ferrell, Old Depot. You can mix. I mean, there's tons more between Marquette, Georgia, and IU. Uh,
yeah.
so
OG
what's
and
it like?
Thomas.
Yeah, what's it like to play under such a long tenured at the time at IU, and
Mhm.
overall just successful coach?
It was great. I mean, right from the jump, I just respected everything he was about. Just from like positionless basketball to making sure everybody was like working on their own game, whether that be like, you know, setting time during practice, making sure each of like the assistant coaches and like the GAs and stuff was getting with us, like watching film. Like I think that was my first time realizing like what it took to like really get to the pros. I think just whether that be like the film, taking care of your body, all those things, he really like opened my eyes to those things.
In the 2018 season, you played under Archie Miller, and you became significantly more of a focal point on offense. Which, in college, everyone's, there's a different age gap in some people. So part of it's just the way your body, I guess, age
Yeah.
compared to like guys who are 18 and 19. But what is it like to have more touches and more, you know, you can't take any plays off when you're
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of weird at first. Like, I don't even think like it was like a off season thing where it's like, okay, like, look, we're gonna start making it a point. Like, I think I like started one game, and then I think like the next two games I didn't even start. Um, and I was just thinking, I was just like I didn't want to just like in my head, I didn't want to keep coming off the bench. So I was like, look, like I'm gonna just get in the game and like whoever's in front of me, I just refuse to let them stop me. And then it just kind of happened from there, and it just kept going and going, and then the momentum just kept building. And then it's like if you really look at the game, not too many plays ran for me. It was just like
yeah.
I would just find the spot, and then next you know, it would just turn into a point or assist. But it's like there was really only like two plays where it's like where Archie would be like, okay, we're running this and you're getting the ball. Any other time, it was all pretty much just like,
Improv.
yeah, just improv.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate. I watched the game. I the I studied up on you, and I knew you were coming in, but I just stayed up just because I like to watch guys play styles. You had a game against Notre Dame where you
Oh
were a
yeah,
monster, and you had so much bounce on one dunk. I was
yeah,
I was shocked. I think Big Ten put it on its TikTok, so I had to go find the game on
yeah,
YouTube. I was like, wow, he got some bounce.
yeah. Yeah, I used to be a little bit more springy than I am now.
What's the knees?
Yeah.
I think we're the same height, so yeah, I know I know how it is. I know how it is. Which here, just for the audience, just because people are amazed by this. How big are you?
6'8",
And to
240.
yeah, you got me like 80 pounds. Yeah. You still close with any of your college teammates? Because you were there for 4 years. So I'm sure you got
Oh
some.
yeah, yeah. I would say a lot of them actually. I would say OG, Thomas, Yogi, uh, Troy, Nick. I still talk to. Who else? Devontae, Kurt, Deron, Josh, Freddie. Like I'm still Tim, Zach, McRebound. Yeah, I'm still close to a lot of them.
The benefits of being a 4 year guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
you're around the program. Which I guess I'll go ahead and ask. You still around the program, or do you still have contact about you?
Yeah, as much as I can, obviously, like with seasons falling at the same place, like I do try to usually around like All-Star break or like even if there's like a game close, I will try to like make it and see them. I went to the game when they played Arizona and Vegas. When was that? In December, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still try to catch every game I can.
So you actually transitioned pretty well into my next question. So I'm a Nuggets fan. I'm a Denver Nuggets fan. I'm sorry if that brings back memories.
Oh no, you're all good. That was an
The
insane playoff series.
I'm gonna get to that. That was the most fun I've ever had. Uh, do you have any interesting stories about Thomas Bryant? Because I need to know if my backup center is a fun man or not.
Oh no, he is hilarious, but like when it's time to work, it's like I would take him over like I would say if, when it's time to work, I would take him over a lot of guys. I'm not gonna get into any names or anything, but like over like 99% of guys, I'm taking TV on my team for sure.
So I watch a lot of Wizards games come on East, or I just like watching East Coast games. I like watching the full block. I watch a lot of Nuggets games, of course. His
Mm.
energy is pretty. He has a lot
Yeah,
of energy.
it's almost second to none. It's like regardless if it's just a rebound or whatever, he's like going 100%
He's
almost all the
extremely
time.
extremely smart. He's so efficient.
Yeah,
It's a dunk or a layup, or he's not taking it.
yeah.
It's
He doesn't do anything he can't do.
so you went undrafted in 2019, which
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a surprise to you. I mean, I'm sure
yeah.
you had information.
No,
It
it
was,
wasn't a surprise. I already knew kind of going in what
yeah,
I'd have to do to get to the league.
because I guess there's certain everyone in the league has to be a certain archetype now, and maybe you don't completely fit that archetype. There's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
exactly.
well, at 2008 though, when they had power forwards, you're going top 10.
Yeah, that's I always say I was in the wrong era all the
Yeah,
time.
it's the icon like my Kenyon Martin types, like my
Yeah,
I guess my Reggie Evans types, and when you're not if you're not a 3 and D or you're not a center anymore, you get stuck in the middle.
yeah.
Uh, and I guess the prototype has become Aaron Gordon or something like that, where you can just but
Do pretty much everything.
yeah, but so and you did make it to the league pretty I don't know easily, but you made it to the league without you didn't have to sit on a G League team for too long before you got the Jazz or the Utah Jazz were interested in you. So what was that whole process like, and what was it feeling when you signed and finally got on an NBA floor, officially?
It was crazy. I mean, like literally, we played our first two. We it's crazy because we lost our first two games in as the G League team. And then we played like I'd say we played like three more, and like we were 3-2. So like I wasn't like really happy. I didn't think I was playing well because we lost two games. And then I remember they brought me in. They was like, so I remember Bart brought me in, the GM of the Stars at the time. He's like, yeah, so you've been killing. Like there's no other word for it, and we're gonna sign you, to a standard contract tomorrow. And I just kind of sat there and I was just, oh, okay, that's great. Because the game had just ended, so I like wasn't even really paying attention, and I was just sitting there, and he was like, "That's it, like that's all you're gonna say." I was like, it was like, oh, I didn't even really hear you. I'm sorry. And then he told me again, and then it was just like all the emotion just like came out, and I think it was just amazing. And then the first time I got on the floor, because I got signed like the next day, and then I went to practice that day, and then the following day we traveled to Indiana to play the Pacers. So it was like the first time I got on the floor was against the Pacers in Indiana.
Yeah, that had to feel good. Now you're from Missouri, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what your accolades are in high school, so that stuff's kind of annoying to find out. It's hard to find. So I guess were you on any all state teams or anything? If anyone I don't know, we will know, or with
Um, I think my last 2 years, I was maybe sophomore year too, but I was on all state for sure the last 2 years. But as far as 5A goes, it was like me, OG, Jimmy Witt that went to where you go? He went to Arkansas and SMU.
yeah,
And
he went to SMU.
yeah, yeah. And then Tyler Cook,
Yeah,
Iowa, obviously, and then Jason
Nugget.
Tatum.
Tyler Cook was a Nugget during that too.
Yeah,
He was on a
in the bubble.
two-way
Yeah.
contract. Yeah, he's got a really unique jumper.
Yeah. And then Jason Tatum,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
pretty much everybody
it's
knows.
yeah, and we'll get to him.
Yeah.
uh, so you weren't on a two-way contract when you were Jazz, were you?
I
I don't
went
think you've
from
ever been on a two-way contract, right?
no, I went from a G League straight to a
Yeah.
standard contract.
So how does that feel? That the two-way, which I guess now they have a third slot, going in next year.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah, you probably know about.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know when the CBA kicks in. Uh,
Yeah.
but what is it like to so many people have to do the two-way. I call it the Blue Dort schedule because he's the one that I guess really made it work. What was it like to juggle the? So you get to skip juggling the G League NBA contracts initially. What was it
Mm-hmm.
like to be on the bench with Jazz teams, which are always? I mean, those Jazz teams were always good.
I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I learned so much. Like obviously, I mean, I already knew Don, from like years before that. I mean, we were close in high school. And then obviously playing him when he was at Louisville, and then at Indiana when we played at Bankers, like, well, what's it called now? Gamebridge, playing there.
Gamebridge, yeah, it is Gamebridge.
So,
Exclusivity deals.
yeah, seeing him. Also just like learning from like one of the best defensive centers ever, and Rudy. And then also, I would probably say I was like closest with Mike Conley, another Indiana guy,
Yeah,
um, and just being able to like pick their brains about like just how they go about being a pro, just like the different things they see on the court, and I just feel like I learned so much from them.
I was gonna say yeah, because you missed the Rubio year. Your rookie year is the Conley. Uh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm a big.
For
I
sure.
like Conley. I'm just a big Ricky Rubio guy because I really liked Rubio growing up. The So you got to that first round against the Nuggets in the bubble, which I'm sure the bubble was its own unique adjustment period.
Yeah.
Uh, that Nuggets series is epic. I don't really think that's debatable at this point. It gets a
No.
little bit lost because they did the same thing to the Clippers the next round,
Yeah.
uh, which I'm sure felt a little bit better when they did it to two people.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and I don't know what that series was just absurd. Jamal Murray was absurd. Joker was absurd. Paul Millsap dunked so many times. I just don't understand how he even got up that far anymore.
Yeah.
the What was it like to play that series? Because you were on the floor, especially when Conley was out the first couple of games. You
Yeah.
were on the floor a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it was again. It's like everything just kind of was just sprung on me again. It was just like we went to practice. And then my player coach, Zach at the time, he was just like, "Has coach talked to you, Coach Quinn?" I was just like, "No, like, did I do something?" He was like, "No, he'll talk to you in a second." And then he just like walked up to me. He was like, "Juwan, you want to start tomorrow?" And I was like, "Of course." Like, what kind of question is that? And then so I was like getting like the reps with like the starting team, and it was Joe, Don, me, Royce, and Rudy. And I was starting on Paul Millsap, who again is like one person I like model my game out there, who like I watch all the time. So it's like in a way, like my other player coach, Brian Bailey, he was just like, "You want to watch film?" Because he already knew who I like to watch and play like. He's like, "You want to watch film or you got it?" I was like, "Look, I don't need to watch any film. Like I know everything that's going to happen. I'm good." And I think it was just like being able to watch that on the floor, it was like crazy. Obviously, seeing Jamal score 50, didn't want to see that, but like as a fan, like you're like just in awe of some things him and Donovan were doing. It was just like it was like 1-on-one with 10 people on the court. That's what it seemed like.
That that bubble was the most isolations I've ever seen. Because
It was the
everyone,
best basketball ever, easily.
yeah, I was gonna say your match against Millsap or Grant, I imagine most of the series, Jeremy Grant. Uh,
Well, except for game two, they had me on Jokic for the
yeah, which I remember at the time, and I watched college ball, but and I knew he worked as 2K, you can know anyone else is, and you're guarding Joker, and I was like, well, what's happening here? I was like, do they know something we don't? Because they don't throw anyone on Jokic, and that's before Jokic took it to a whole other level.
yeah.
He's been better since. But yeah, him in that play, I mean, the numbers, it's like constant 30, 15, and 10s.
Yeah, it was like the way we were going about it definitely made sense. Like because I was like strong enough so that Jokic wasn't
Yeah.
just backing me down, but like they also wanted Rudy like in help so that way he could like not pick up fouls, but like still be able to like almost like double team. And it worked for game two and game three. So I mean, we
Well,
look at
game one was epic. And I actually, when Murray, it was somewhere, because that game was like, you guys would score, we would score. And it always felt like, because I guess you guys are the bad guys, I'm a Nuggets fan, it always felt like you guys scored twice, and then
yeah,
we would score. And then Jamal hit some layup, twisting layup. It may have even been you on your Gobert. Definitely someone tried to slide over. And I went, oh, we're going to win this game. And then
yeah,
Donovan Mitchell would answer. I went, oh, we're not winning this game. and then so game one is epic. You guys take 2 through 4. I was hoping because the narrative around Conley that year, Conley wasn't good. Was the narrative, and then
yeah.
it just took a minute to gel because it was his first new situation in 10 years.
Mhm.
uh, I went, oh, we're losing the series, and then I don't know what happened. I mean, I imagine you guys, the disappointment when you left the bubble had to be pretty high, right?
Oh yeah, it was like it was it was tough, like especially like when we got to game seven, like you could tell like everybody was ready, but like at the same time, it was just like it's a game seven when we were like up 3-1. So it was just like a little bit more like nervous energy, but I think everybody still when I was ready. And like to this day, like I probably know Don still blames himself for like game one because like I don't know if you remember, but like the 8 second violation in the backcourt.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so like
Because
I bet he still blames himself for that, even though it was
what
like nobody on the court was like really aware. Like we all thought like we had more time than what it was, and then next we hear the whistle, and then it was just like. But I
was
still
it
think
a was it an inbound in the backcourt off the side? And it
yeah,
was one of those ones where you get caught in it. If you play 2K, you'll get caught in it at least 3 or 4 times a rec game for some
yeah,
reason. It's like if you're in the backcourt, you inbound it, the time doesn't reset, so you just
yeah. That's
and
exactly what it was.
he probably he may have had Gary Harris on him probably. And
No, Gary Harris was out.
yeah,
Um,
Gary Harris was out because our backcourt because we were missing Barden, we are missing Will Barden too.
mhm.
uh,
I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Murray and Grant on him the whole time, if
yeah,
I'm not
because we were
mistaken.
that was a beat up Nuggets team.
Yeah.
And we had done the Malik Beasley trade where we had lost Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt. And so our
Mhm.
depth at the end was like we had Noah Vonleh, who's another IU guy, but
Yeah.
Vonleh didn't get enough time to, get into the rotation. We had a
Right.
couple other guys. So it was like we were in like an 8-man rotation, probably the
Mhm.
entire. I keep on saying we. I'm not affiliated with the Nuggets. I wish I was. Uh the so you're on that series is epic. What was it like to be on the floor during yes, that series? And you got more run I think next year. But what was it like to be on the floor and you're not? I don't want to say not integral, but you're in the corner or you're in the
Yeah.
wing. You're not. They'll run a Gobert and Mitchell pick and roll. They'll run a Mitchell ISO. They'll run a side for Conley or maybe
Right.
Royce or Bogdan gets the shot. But,
Mhm.
you're kind of out there, I guess, just trying to offensive rebound, cut at the right time if needed, or
Yeah, I mean, my like obviously I feel like I can, score, do all those things too, but it's just like at that time, Don, Joe, Mike, JC,
Clark, yeah, Clarkson, yeah.
Rudy, they're there to score. Like, so, and obviously they're gonna have the best defenders on them. So if I can get them open and get the best defender off of them, then I feel like that's a win in my book. And like, especially like because then they would leave me, and if they took the shot, I'm open for every offensive rebound. So it's just like I would just sprint in and I would be good to go. So it was just like it was like the game within the game. Like obviously they don't think I'm in there to score. They're right. But then they go and try to take away the guys that are there to score, and then I'm free to do pretty much anything else.
Yeah, you mentioned Paul Millsap earlier, and that actually Paul Millsap drafted by the Jazz in
Oh,
'06. The uh you and him have very similar body types. You
yeah.
do. It's just it's a little undersized, but just strong,
Yeah.
just big. Uh so I guess that's smart to model game out there. And there's a lot of Millsap. There's a lot of good stuff from Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
Paul Millsap, good player. Long time good player. I don't. He lasted forever.
Yeah. It
Well,
seemed like he was in the league forever.
I don't know if he was ever top 250 in athleticism,
Yeah.
but
I don't think so either. But he always just got it done.
yeah. So last season you got to play for the Eastern Conference champs, Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats. It must be a nice trophy to hold.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was insane. Heavy.
yeah, you ended up getting on the court for both, for both some conference games or conference finals games and some finals games. What was it like just to be on the floor at all? I don't know if you were in
It was
blowouts either way, but you're
yeah.
still on the
I
floor.
really I mean obviously wanted to win, but it was just like being able to be out there and like actually log minutes or like just be out there regardless. It was like a dream because obviously like there's people that who are like starters and like all stars who never see the finals and
Yeah.
like just be able to be there. And like a lot of people are always like, well, you didn't really do anything. It's just like, I mean, in the game it made it seem that way, but it's like at the same time, like when we like did scout and stuff, like we had to be like that other team. Like we had to give, the guys that played like the best look possible to prepare them. So it's like we were like doing all the behind the scenes things. And I feel like just being a part of that was just insane.
So last year, you know, I almost to get back at when COVID hit, the Raptors signed you,
Mm-hmm.
and you got the basketball reference oddity of one game played for the Raptors,
Yeah.
and which just makes it always just fun. And what was it like when you get to play? Did you get to play in Canada? Yeah, they're back in Canada last year,
Mhm.
and I don't know
Yeah.
if it was a home game or not.
We played in Cleveland first and
Yeah,
then went to Canada for the next three
yeah.
games.
I guess you're still on the team. You just were on the, they got in one.
Yeah.
Which I imagine Nick Nurse, Coach Nick Nurse, the rotations for that year last year, the way the restrictions were just crazy.
Yeah. It was like he was like, I like him because he's just like, look, if you're good to play, you're gonna play. Like he didn't believe in the whole like rotation thing. Like this guy has to play this many minutes. He's like, look, if you're playing well and you feel good, like you'll keep playing.
And the Boston, the Celtics brought you in, and I'm not sure if it surprised you, but I think a lot of people thought they would have just gone buyout market for every, they had like 5 roster spots open,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people thought they would go buyout market, and they signed you. It ended up being a lot of the pieces in the Brogdon trade. Actually, they signed
Yeah.
you. They signed Nick Stouts. Is that right? Signed
Spouses.
Luke Cornett. Malik Fitz? Malik Fitz. That might not be true. Was
Yeah,
Malik
that's
Fitz
right.
right? Oh
Mm-hmm.
yes. Uh, wow, I'm a nerd. And so what was it like, I guess, going from the G League to a Boston team, which at the trade deadline was technically struggling, but
Yeah,
clearly had pieces to reassemble if they could, get it together.
yeah. I mean, it was again great. Like I just feel like if like I feel like coaches see winners. Like it didn't matter. Like obviously the G League team I was on at the time, Maine. Like I don't even think I was like top 4 or 5 scores, but it was just like the defense and like getting everybody else to gel together. And it's just like coaches see that. Like if they just go off numbers and things like that, a lot of people wouldn't be getting paid what they are. Like there's so many guys in the league that just fit any system. So that's why
Yeah.
they're able to just be out there with any guys because they guard most of the time the best player. And on offense, they're not just cones, but they also just get people moving, things like that. And I feel like that's exactly what I do.
The Jay Crowder.
Essentially, like Jay Crowder, Draymond, like they're just so many. I mean, like to an extent, like Sabonis, like
Yeah.
he like gets the ball a lot on the post, but he still like gets people moving. So I feel like there's just so many people like that.
You played under Quinn Snyder, who just got another gig, which I
Yeah,
don't think is surprising. I got hired again. That was going to
no,
be coming. And I guess for the local area, he coached at Mizzou. Mizzou's kind of close to here.
yeah.
uh, so what was it like to play under Quinn Snyder? I guess you played Nick Nurse, and then I always butcher his name, Celtics Oduku.
Uh, Udoka.
Udoka. I've always butchered it. I watched him as a kid when he was on the Spurs, and I still butcher it. So you get to play under three guys that I mean I think their track records prove they're good coaches.
Yeah.
uh, uh, Two of them are in the league, and one's going to be in the league next year without a doubt. So what it was like to play under good basketball minds.
I mean, it's great. Like just there's so many things that I learned from each of them. I mean, obviously being with Quinn longer, learned more from him. Um, and it's just I feel like each one of them have like their own philosophy, but it's just like they're all pretty much under the same tree. Like they're all there's different branches, but they're all pretty much under the same tree. And it's just like they have like a just an unreal amount of faith in just like what their players can do and like what they're seeing. And I feel like they all are like players coaches because like they would literally just be like they would do their coaching thing like I see this like what y'all think, but they would also be like, all right, y'all are out there like what do you want to do? Like y'all see this, y'all are getting guarded this way. What do you want to do? And I just respected that from all three of them.
And that really is the way the league's gone. Most of the coaches in the league are not player coaches. If you're not player coaches, you seem not to last
Yeah,
unless you have Greg Popovich level stock already assembled.
yeah,
Do you have a coach you personally love to play for? I'm sure Steve Kerr and Popovich are up there just because of knowledge at this point. But
that I would ever love to play for.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I mean, obviously, like the Popovich, the like you said, Steve Kerr, those two. I would love to play for Quinn again, for sure, for sure. Actually, my AAU coach Rodney Perry, he's at K State now. But if he was ever in the league, like for sure would play for him again. Um, so I would say, yeah, there's a lot of coaches for sure, though.
Atlanta, I know you have a roster spot free. You can sign your guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Give him a paid vacation. Uh, Thoughts? Did Stevens sign you? I'm sure you've talked to Brad Stevens.
yeah. I have, but
Yeah,
no, Ime was the coach still. But yeah, Brad
yeah,
did.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because Stevens is in the front office.
Yeah, yeah, he did sign me.
Uh, so what was like is just because Indiana, Butler exists,
Yeah,
and I mean, that's the closest Butler ever get to a national title. And he did it 2 years in a row.
yeah,
so,
yeah,
so what was it like that? I guess you got to meet a state hero of Indiana. I don't.
yeah. Basically, but I mean, he was great. I mean, literally the first conversation he had with me, he brought up Butler in Indiana. He's like basically said he's like, I don't know if I should be signing you, being an Indiana guy, but he's like, we've had some good luck with him because Romeo was there at the time too.
Yeah.
But like he's just a great guy all around. Like no bad words for him.
Uh, you're currently playing for the Ontario Clippers in the G League. I think
Mm-hmm.
technically, right? I'm still technically right. Okay, good. The PR guy didn't do me dirty. Uh, do you enjoy it? What's your favorite part? I mean, it's G League. You're still, I guess, under the watchful eye of the NBA. They're
Mm-hmm.
still watching. They always need talent, and
Yeah.
they'll just
I think it was great, especially I feel like with the Clippers, like just top to bottom, they really pay attention to like the stock they're putting into the G League. And I think like somebody from the front office was at like almost every game, multiple practices, and I really just enjoyed it. I had a great time. Obviously, like some injuries like came into play, but I would say overall I just had a great time.
are you interested? And I know I imagine no one wants to think about this. Have you had any overseas prospects? Because there's a lot of leagues now,
Mm-hmm.
and I think almost. I mean, I'm gonna have to restart our Zoom recording. Not gonna lie. Uh, China's a thing, Taiwan's a thing, EuroLeague's a thing, and EuroLeague is high competition no matter what you think.
Yeah.
I mean, have you had overseas prospects?
Um, Not that I like not anything like too demanding or crazy, but like I am open to the idea. So it just
Yeah.
if the right situation comes along, then I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Uh, can I wrap this up and then restart this recording?
Yeah.